right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. We have a second series here now moving into Division A West, where we have the number 2 and number 4 teams going at it tonight. We have Team Showboat versus Balloon Granta Strength. Pally, how are you feeling about this game?
I think it should at least be very exciting. These teams are 1 point away from each other in the standings, so they are fighting still, both of them, for that top seed. Both are almost guaranteed playoffs, but they do want to go into playoffs in a good spot, so should be very good play here.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, top 4 teams in the league. We're getting ready to go in the playoffs. Everyone's vying to see how well they could be on top of their opponents. This is when, like, the gloves come off and everyone's like, not holding back here. So we're gonna have to see what gets brought to the table here. Just to catch folks up on the coin flip happenings. So Team Showboat winning out on that coin toss. They decided they wanted map pick. So game number 1, Volskaya Foundry was their choice, banning out Brax's Holdout, while Balloon Granta Strength banned out Dragonshire, and in game 2 are taking us to Infernal Shrine. So some good matches, some good maps this evening, I would say.
Really good maps, yeah. Very team fight focused maps, with also a lot of macro, so the best of the maps for both.
Best of the best, yeah. After our first set, we want to see brawls. We got a lot of brawls in match number 1. These bans though are very interesting. The Chromie very specifically.
She did get a little bit of a buff today. I don't think it was enough to make her that scary. So that's confusing. The Mephisto, I haven't really seen much of his play, but he is very strong and in tight corners on those shrines or those points. It's very tough to have a very bursty mage with mobility. So I understand that, definitely. I forgot Asmodean was a hero.
So far these pickups are great. Balloon Granta Strength picking up the Tyrande in the first rotation, making sure we have the Owl controller herself, but the Asmodean pickup too here on Volskaya. Everything is starting to paint a very curious picture for game 1.
I really like the Asmodean pickup because he is kind of pseudo-global with his Q. So he's going to be able to clear a lot of waves out while being in team fights. And if he's able to stack, that Tyran's in trouble. And that's a lot of burst damage. Tyran's more of a sustain healer.
Mm-hmm.
So that could potentially be an issue for Balloon Granta Strength. But they have, of course, the Diablo, the Alarak, silence, stun everywhere.
This is so alright. So we had like the Chromie and we were like kind of weird. Mephisto the band, we're like, okay, the Tyrande pickup awesome, the Asmo pickup awesome. We had the Alarak come in, and now we're seeing a Zul ban. These teams are just like in the know, I feel like, of what is going on, or they have simply established some higher level of meta or just know each other very well to start specifically banning out these things. And it's so cool to see some like out of left field stuff come out.
I'm very confused by that soul ban. Very confused. Because we already have a stun chain here where we have the pull by Alarak, the silence, the stun by Diablo, the stun by Tyran. And Tyrande Diablo used to be like the combo that everyone feared way back when, 2015. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see that.
It's coming back, baby. It's coming back.
Leoric. So Leoric's a very good solo laner. We haven't seen the solo laner on the side of Balloon Granta Strength yet. Oh, there it is.
Oh my goodness. We get the Artanis coming in here. Followed up with Jaina. So
this is interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm trying to like think about this a little bit, because you have a potential like crazy combo, I think, with, you mentioned the Diablo Tyrande, but even with the Alarak too and a lot of that follow-up damage, you have the Artanis swaps to disrupt members of Team Showboat. On the side of Team Showboat though, I just feel like there's so much there that's going to last really long in a fight of any capacity, on top of, you know, the healing that comes out due to Dragon Queen, and then the dunks from Asmo to put out the damage.
Dragon Queen on this map specifically is extremely powerful, so...
There's so many questions I have. I don't know what's going on. This can go so many different directions. This is really exciting. We always talk about, like, you know, the you know, Division D, Division E having, you know, the wacky drafts and all that, but this is a very non-standard draft, so I gotta give props here to both teams.
Definitely not standard.
I'm excited.
I do like it, though. There's a lot of CC on the side of Balloon Granta's strength. So if they get a lockdown on the Alexstrasza, the Tychus, even if they get on Leoric, Leoric doesn't actually die, but they have a lot of the follow-up burst damage to all of that. So it might just be a very practiced combo that they have? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Let's see if they can land that combo here. Game number 1 in the blue, we have Team Showboat. We're going to have Yanners on Tychus, Dr. Holiday on Alexstrasza. Kyrios is going to be on the Asmonad, Negan on the Muradin, and on the Skeleton King himself, Axel Folly will be on Leoric.
Now on the red team, Balloon Granta's strength, we have Tyrande played by Mr. Arigato. Jaina is played by Enigma, Diablo is played by Phantomas, Artanis by Jix, and Alarak by Phenomenon.
And Yanners is a goner here in the first couple seconds. We saw the stun, the swap first come out from Artanis, the shadow charge from Phantomas to follow it up, and then the damage coming out from the rest of the team. It's a very easy first pick.
It is. I'm very excited to see how the Tychus works out here. Balloon Granta's strength has a really thick front line, but I'm not sure the Tychus was the right pick against this. It's very easy to blow up. So on the point, I'm interested to see how Odin and Dragon are gonna synergize there. It's gotta be Odin, right?
It's gotta be Odin, I would think, and potentially the draft from Team Showboat is set up more to be a late game draft once those heroics come online. I think there's a lot of tools for them to really control those fights, Odin being one of them. We have the Entomb for Leoric as well. So we're gonna have to see how they end up doing with the early game. They already have given 2 kills to their opponents, one of them being Muradin, which you don't want to see your Muradin falling ever. Especially early on in the game, so Team Showboat's going to have a very interesting early game up until those heroics come online.
Yeah, definitely, and Hunter's Mark really helps burst down that Muradin when you have a Jaina Alarak follow-up. And Artanis does a lot of the damage to the tanks, too, so if they get the combo correctly when Hunter's Mark is up, they can burst down anyone on that team.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye out for that burst. And so far, I've been really liking the phenomenon with the displacement coming out from Alarak and how that's been used. I feel like if you're drafting Alarak, you are, like, more than enough comfortable with Alarak. Like, no one drafts an Alarak just being like, yeah, I'm okay with them. It's an all-in, I feel like. So, going to see over time, through the course of this game, how well we get proven that fact.
We actually have really some very strange talent pickups here. The Leoric did not go Neil Peasants at 4, so he's not going to have the insane wave clear that Leorics usually have. I wonder if that's specifically because they want to slow the targets? It's just very interesting to me. And then Jaina went Arcane Intellect. So she is going full mana build. She doesn't want to tap, she doesn't want to go back at all.
So really just dump in the snow as often as possible.
Definitely. I guess the rest of them are pretty standard. We have the bigger they are from Tychus, so that should just destroy Diablo early on.
Oh my god, the double stun coming out from Tyrande. The follow-up kill onto Muradin as well there. What a play coming out from Balloon Granta's strength, being able to get the first couple percentages here on this beacon as well. Phenomenon is scary so far. Like, I'm afraid just watching it, and whenever I see them get close to any heroes, I'm just gonna be scared from here on out.
Yeah, Alarak can be very powerful if you're comfortable with him, especially to follow up to CC, just because of that silence and then that burst.
Yeah, and there's the silence onto Dr. Holiday. The follow-up stun in the follow-up damage also from Tyrande. Negan now the focus. Muradin is going to fall. That is souls already stacked for Phantom Mass as well. As we get a quick pause here from our teams. But yeah, so far Balloon, whew, they're looking nasty right now.
Definitely the pick comp draft is working out for them. The Tyrande Diablo is just way too powerful going into that Alarak silence. They're just able to stun or CC someone for 10 seconds. They're just dead. Doesn't matter who the target is. You don't have to be scared of going after a big health target like Muradin if he can't do anything. So it's working out for them. It definitely is. The points are going to be very, very hard for Team Showboat. If this keeps going on, they should play a little bit safer until 10. Maybe that's their power spike right there, but I'm really not sure. This is just way too effective.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just there's a mechanicalness and just like a precision aspect that is being nailed so perfectly for Balloon right now. It's whether or not they can keep it up all game, or if maybe they're feeling really good early, and you get a little bit of that fatigue that might come from having to land those skill shots all game. But I mean, at this point, I think the team should be.
I have this thing where I just flick off my pause button. I don't know why.
Oh
I'm
no!
fling it across the room.
Bye pause button. We'll remember you for the rest. I don't even have a pause break button, honestly.
Oh well, I do, but it's always across the room, and I just go ah. I'm still in.
Rip. You know it's dead now. But getting back to the game, so Protector number 1 going over to side of Balloon Granta's Strength, and they are doing damage on this mid gate, and we're gonna have to see if they want to rotate now up to that top to start prepping that, as that is where the next beacon is going to be. Let me see the rotation coming out.
Yeah, they can get that at least that well. Then they have a really good position for the next point. But we did see them an interesting thing. It was just pointed out. We did see Balloon Granta's Strength actually ignore the turret camp for a very long time. But I think that's just because they knew that if they aggressed onto Team Showboat, they were gonna get those kills. And I think Negan might be in trouble here. All of the stuns are up. And they're just not gonna bother taking down Muradin.
Yeah, don't necessarily need to for the time being. They also might not know where Leoric necessarily is at the given moment in time. He was with that wave, so I'm not sure if he was showing necessarily or not. But not necessarily wanting to engage in a fight just yet, now that both teams hovering on that 9 level. But
have this camp picked up by Balloon Granta's Strength, so that's gonna also be something very strong on the top objective.
Yeah, they have two. They have 2 healing pulses.
They do.
Boy.
And their turret will be up very shortly, so they should pick that up too. You win this game with items.
Yep.
So
it's really this is a collection game. Less a fighting game and more how many things can you pick up. But level 10's here now for Balloon Granta's Strength. They're hanging by this fort for quite some time. Negan gets the charge, uses the Dwarf Toss to get out. We're gonna see Shadow Stalk coming into play for a bit of healing. The charge coming in from Jinx. The kill onto Tychus as well. The stun going out onto Negan, trying to get away. The Entomb though coming out from Leoric. A stun's picked up for Team Showboat, being able to zone just a little bit. But the members of Balloon Granta's Strength still pushing into this mid fort, and they are seemingly re-engaging here.
That double Alarak silence is just so painful. Team Showboat can't do anything when that happens, because then there's just the immediate follow-up. There's just so much synergy on the side of Balloon Granta's Strength. Like, they have practiced this combo many times. Just flip into root, into silence. It's insane.
Yeah, it's so well coordinated and thought out here from Balloon. And, I mean, the longer this game goes, the scarier it's going to get once you start seeing those 13 and 16 talents coming as well. Additional damage and range for a lot of these heroes at that tier. So, for the time being, Team Showboat has the opportunity to catch up a little bit. But they're always being careful. Like in match 1, we talked about, you know, you're always in fear of the ETC power slide, especially when Mosh Pit is up. And I think that's the fear that Team Showboat constantly has with the Alarak combo.
Yes, definitely. I think right there they were doing something pretty smart, trying to invade the camp, but they just didn't commit to it. They let Leoric go in way too far forward before the team was responding. So that's why he went down there, I think. Could have easily gotten this camp just because Balloon, Grant of Strength, didn't want to fight there. But because of the way he did, very easy to get an advantage. Unfortunately, but I did like that. That was a really good call.
Yeah, the attempt is there, and I mean, these teams aren't second and fourth for, like, any fluke, right? And so I think maybe Team Showboat, Axel Folly taking a lot of damage. The swap there, it from Artanis takes out the Leoric. And with the objective already starting, the members of Team Showboat are not really even concerned. They know they can't necessarily compete for it being down level 13.
Right, and they could have just committed hard bot there. They did know that someone was on the top shrine. They can see Alarak. Alarak's already gotten this fort down on top, so they could have traded. I know it's really tough with the Punisher, not the Punisher up, the Protector up, but I really think they could have just gone for that, so they at least had some structures down.
I think if it's going to be an opportunity, it's going to have to be here. Team Showboat needs to get a kill before the rest of Balloon joins up here, and I don't think they're going to be able to. They stopped the percentage gain on the objective for a little bit while longer. Leoric coming up almost back to life as well. He did use Entomb down in the bottom lane when he fell, so that's not going to be up for a while. The silence coming out, the water elemental for the damage, the dunk trying to be there, but Leoric is going to fall. The Dragon Queen popped. Protector on the side of Balloon. The defense is here. Negan uses the Dwarf Toss, gets very low, hangs back behind the Odin. Odin trying to put the damage out, but this Protector's already picked up. This fort's going to fall, and so far this game has been roses and sunshine for Balloon Grant of Strength.
It definitely has. We did see Dragon Queen and Odin come out a little late into that fight, so the Protector is actually grabbed before either of those ults were popped. Well, that's not an ult for Alexstrasza, but if we had seen those a little bit earlier, I think they could have stopped some of the CC chain. Especially because the Alarak and the Diablo were going to get the Protector. So that was a great opportunity for them to take out the Tyrant or the Jaina. And I would have liked to see them go a little bit aggro there to try to do that. Especially when their nemesis Alarak is not in play anymore.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, when Alarak's not around, I think that's going to be, like you said, the opportunity for Team Showboat to try to make something happen in their favor. But it's very hard so far this game. Alarak's still hanging out in that Protector coming to this mid-keep gate. But with 16 here, if Balloon wanted, they can keep pressing the advantage. The combo landing here for Alarak. We're going to have to see how far forward Team Showboat wants to step here.
We almost have stacks on Asmodan, so those Qs are going to start hurting really bad. Be half the health of Tyrande and Jaina, so maybe we can see something come online that is finished. It is finished now, as I speak about it.
Uh-oh.
So maybe we'll see something really cool happen now that Asmodan is stacked.
The invade coming in. Dr. Holiday able to get away. Muradin being able to body for Alexstrasza for the time being. But it deters from them being able to take that camp. And Balloon says, this is ours now. Thank you very much. Starting to work on that as well. Leo in the bot lane. Nothing for Balloon to really worry about in terms of being collapsed upon, given the talent advantage, the member advantage. So far, Team Showboat looking like they don't necessarily know what they need to do to catch up here to find themselves in a favorable team fight. And so I wonder how they're going to approach the next one as we start to head closer toward the next objective.
It's really tough that you should have 16 by the next objective, but Bloom Granted Strength will be up closer to 20. They'll at least have 18 and a half by that point. So it's going to be a tough fight, but they're going to want that fight. 16 to 18 is where they have to win in order to turn this around. And I'm not sure why Bloom Granted Strength was playing so passive there. They do still have that 16 advantage, and they could have had anything they wanted on the map at that point. And here they go. They're gonna take a Murden? No, they're not. Yes, they are.
Oh, they're trying to. The Avatar popped the Entomb for the defense from Axel Folly, though. Saving this Murden for the time being. The Wraith Block there. Start getting away. Beautiful defensive Entomb, I must say. That, I think Murden might have fallen had that not been there.
Definitely. And they don't really want to fight here. Team Showboat wants to just get the 16. They don't really care about this fort, even if they have to give it up. It sucks because the next protector is on bot lane, but they can take an even talent fight if they get this. So I would like to see them maybe get a little aggressive, push in a lane, force a rotation. I think that's the way that they win this here now that they have 16. They go into the conveyor belt. It is a clown fiesta. It's going to be a mess with all of the CC. So I don't know if they want to engage there. I would like to see them take the fight back further if possible.
I felt like had Tychus been in this rotation with the rest of Team Showboat to this bot lane, and had they been a little bit more cautious coming in from the side rather than right from the front, that could have been a really brilliant collapse on the members of Bloom Granted Strength while they could. But they're going to work on getting this turret, seeing if they can have some kind of advantage when they go into that beacon, finally picking it up. And this is their window. It's not very big. They have, 2 levels behind there, but they're at least half 16 at this point. Let's see if Showboat can make it happen.
This is their opportunity. They do have Dragon's Queen. They do have Odin up. So they need to pop that early. They need to have Dragon Queen come out. When that duration is done,
they gotta go in. Yeah, they gotta go in like now. There it is. There's the Dragon Queen, but the silence already there. Axel Folly already going down. The Lifebinder is going to come out to keep Tychus alive, and the Odin as well. But Negan, even with the Avatar, taking a lot of damage. The heals are there, though. And this is still going. There is a turret just spinning around on this conveyor belt as well. No one able to pick it up. There it is, immediately used by Enigma on that Jaina. Yonner's on the focus.
And this Murden should be able to get down this Jaina. She does have the Ice Block up, though. That is unfortunate. They're way too split. That's why I wanted to see them take the fight above the point. The conveyor belts are just so crazy.
Seeing their re-engage from Showboat, though. 4 members looking onto Phantom Mass, but not to be had. They are still down there front line, so they're looking to give this up. Another fairly uncontested protector. And with all forts down, we're now starting to look at keep pressure as we go into this late game. Is the defense possible of Pally here if you're Team Showboat? And what do you have to do immediately after to stay in this game?
Absolutely. Again, Alarak Diablo are the ones in that protector, so there's a lot less CC in play right now. Tychus can burst down the protector pretty easily, while Asmodem bullies the backline. They will lose a keep here. They're gonna have to accept that they're losing a keep, but then take the fight. It's a bad fight to take, but they need to make them back up. So if they can win here, if they can just keep one member back and get one pick, they can turn this entire game around. That person will be down for 60 seconds.
Lightning Breath.
Like this Jaina, I know that they would have to engage into the Lightning Breath there. That was a free kill on Jaina. Murden could have stunned her. They could have gotten that Jaina in that moment. Yeah, I know they were playing a little safe because if they did drop any of their members, that would be game right there. But you have to fight eventually. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, they have the level 20 advantage, but they can also just take whatever they want right now. So
they're just waiting for this protector to expire too at this point. There's not too much that Balloon is comfortable grabbing. I like the point you made, though, about even if you're down, there are times that you just have to admit that you need to take the fight. And that's one thing that last year, Team Dignitas, we saw a lot of it, where they would be down and they would take fights that nobody else would usually take. And they would always say, I mean, we either lose over time or we try to make something happen right now and maybe win. And I think that was, like you mentioned, very much the scenario Team Showboat was in, where there's only so much stalling you can do before you have to admit the situation you're in.
Exactly, and I think they did miss that opportunity on that Jaina. Like I mentioned, she stepped very far forward because she was shielded by the lightning breath. But Jaina is very squishy, very immobile. You hit her with that stun, she's dead. So I think that would have changed everything. We would have saw some force going down, maybe a keep if we just took out that. So now they're just gonna probably be passive, wait until 20. The next protector will not be up before they get it, unless they are having trouble soaking here. But all of the lanes are very pushed in. It's very easy to get to these waves. Asmodean one-shots every wave too, so they should be catching up pretty quickly. And this Diablo is alone. They needed to take that.
Yeah, that's Fanto just going right in there, and the members of Team Showboat not really capitalizing on that. And Muradin was a bit far back as well, but also not knowing where the rest of the team is. Was it a bait? It's one of those calls that's hard to see, but when you see the bait, sometimes it's not a trick, you know? Sometimes it's just jolly good food waiting for you on the end of that hook. So do you risk doing it? Closer to level 20, though, for Team Showboat. So the stall is working for the time being, but it's just about when does it break for them, and when do they decide they are ready to face the team members of Balloon head on?
They just need to get someone secluded. So they don't have any swaps, but they do have the Entomb. And soon we're going to have a Silence Entomb. So let the lightning breath run out. Hopefully you can secure 20 in the next few seconds and then get a crazy Silence Entomb on that Tyrande even. She is way too far forward. I think they just really need to get overly aggressive when you see that. Yes, Diablo can charge it, but when you see a squishy mobile member push up that forward, they're overconfident because of how the game is going. That's when you pun it. Especially that close to 20.
And level 20 is finally here for Team Showboat. The fortification camp going over to their opponents, though, right beforehand. So they have 2 turrets and a healing pulse against nothing for Showboat. So this is going to be a pretty tricky defense. First turret's out. And here we go. This is the last stand for Showboat.
It is, and we do have the Silence Entomb coming out. Buried Alive only gets that Artanis, but it does work.
Yeah,
well, that's okay. The Leoric is down. He will be back in just a few seconds. That is the power of Leoric. And this should be a very easy protector for Team Showboat.
Animask going back in. The charges onto Kyrios on Asmodean. Odin still popping away damage onto the backline of Balloon, who are starting to back up. They tap the well. They're getting ready. Leoric getting closer to being back. However, this bottom wave pushing up into the core. 3 catapults sitting there. If that's left alone for too long, that's not going to be a great scenario for Showboat to be in. So Leoric hearthing back, going to deal with that once he's up. Silence onto Yanners, though. The lightning breath forcing the retreat of Showboat off this point for the time being. We'll have to see if Leoric wants to...
So much damage on the core. They needed to go back a little bit sooner. But the Asmodean Qs are just chunking. So they can keep this fight going as even talent. Artanis isn't back yet, so they can re-engage here.
Now, it looks like for right now, they're focusing on cleaning up a little bit with Leoric in these lanes, but with all members back, the charge is starting to see if they can get back into this beacon. The Lifebinder is up, the Entomb is there as well, but there are so many more heroics available for the side of Balloon. So both teams just being very
Jaina's
careful.
not there. She's taking the camp to keep that pressure on top lane. So this is a fight that they want to take, even though they don't know where Jaina is right now.
Yeah, they gotta go now. They know that someone's missing, so they are going to go in. The silence is there onto Toronto, the dunk as well. But the Shadowstalk almost saved her, but she ends up falling. The Lightning Breath, though, on the backline. Dr. Holiday with the Life Binder, able to keep Negan alive for the time being. And the retaliation going in onto Diablo. Diablo going to fall here. Phenomenon on that Alarak tried to disrupt during all of that, but not able to save the tank. But the core damage, I didn't even know. Death
Jaina
by minions.
Core.
Jaina solo core, you had catapults. So focused on that team fight that we didn't even see. Balloon Granta Strength taking game number 1 here on their opponent's map pick. And the Alarak, the Tyrande, do you ban them out if your team Showboat in game 2?
I would consider banning the Tyrande. I'm not sure if we would ban out the Alarak here, because we are going to Infernal Shrines. He's not as powerful on a map like that, because of the wave clear. He does have some wave clear, but they're just better choices, I think. But the Tyrande was really good with the Diablo. I would even consider banning out the Diablo, because it's another map with very tight areas for Diablo just wallbang people. So if they don't let them get a wombo combo, I think it will work out a little bit better.
That is a good thing to know, is that even though the wave clear is not there for Alarak, it's likely not going to be seen. So even though an amazing performance, possibly not the most useful hero in this second game. But you mentioned Infernal Shrines. Possibility of seeing that Asmodan come in again.
Absolutely, and we did see the Asmodan getting very effective towards the end of the game. If there weren't Katas on core, or if he was able to stack prior to that, prior to when he did, he was just chunking everybody on the back line. And I think he took out 2 people by himself in that last fight. So Asmodan is very powerful. You just gotta stack quickly and protect him, and he can wipe out a whole team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Infernal Shrines, and I'm just looking at what we saw banned versus what we saw played and what we might see pick up here. I'm going to assume a very high contention for that Alex Straza going in to this game. We talked about, there's been a couple maps this evening that we haven't really had scream at us, this is Alex, and she came out, but if it's a map for Alex Straza, Infernal Shrines is absolutely going to be it. Team Showboat, I really hope they can get their footing in this game too, because they definitely struggled in that game 1, and losing on your map pick can be pretty devastating for morale going into team 2 or into game 2. So I'm really hoping that they can kind of reset and not take it too to heart.
Yeah, and I think they just need to be a little bit more flexible in draft to be more reactionary. Because once you see that Alarak or that Tyrande Diablo, picking a bursty hero, a bigger burst, would just negate that Tyrande completely. So I think just thinking about it that way, even if you have a comp in mind that you want to play on this map, adjusting once you see that crazy stun lock, you can even just have 1 burst damage hero that she cannot out heal.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have changed the whole game.
Yeah, you were questioning the Tychus pickup too, and
yes,
I wanted to have hearts there, but yeah, definitely not feeling the Tychus was necessarily the damage needed. With the Janet taken away, we could have possibly seen something more along the lines of Greymane, or even if you wanted to stick with the mages, you have something like a Gul'dan that can kind of lay out a lot of damage over multiple targets and kind of give Tyrande a little bit of a hard time trying to keep everyone alive.
I would even like the Phoenix. There's a lot of damage. Tychus is good, and I know they wanted the Dragon Queen into the Odin. It's a very powerful combo on both Gaia and Infernal Shrines. But against that team is really tough because you can shut down Tychus so easily. And once the bigger they are is done, Diablo's still 40% health. He can get healed up pretty quickly. And you're not going to kill him when there's just stun, silence. So
yeah, there were so many just hands off the keyboard moments, I feel, for Team Showboat, that they're like, we can't do anything if we wanted to just because of the chain CC coming out. So definitely frustrating to play against. And I see, Ghost Bear suggesting the Blaze Yrel, which, the Yrel being banned out from by Balloon, actually. The Blaze was still available. So perhaps that's a type of adjustment we see in game 2. And it looks like both teams are ready here. So let us not delay. We saw the Zul'ban in game 1, and we were very confused. And so I would very much like to not see the Zul'ban come out if you're Team Showboat in game 2.
I agree. I think we might get an Alex ban, maybe a Diablo ban. Kael'thas is really good on this map. I know he's not used often, but this is the map to use him on if you're gonna think about it. You can pretty much lock healers. You can lock warriors and then force them into less of a comfort pick. There's the Diablo ban. That doesn't surprise me. Very small, tight spaces that he can just lock down anyone in.
Yeah, very, very good there. The Mephisto ban still coming out for Balloon. Not wanting to deal with the newest addition to the roster. Consistent white main support taken away.
Okay. Yeah, that does make sense. White main's very strong, and if she's getting everyone in small spaces, again, she could do a lot of damage, keep up with the healing. She's good against everybody. So, and the Turan ban right there. Don't want to swap that to the other team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Balloon knows the strength of her, so not wanting to possibly give her over. I was wondering if that was going to be a ban from Showboat themselves or potentially a pickup. I don't know if it's necessarily hero they have wanted to pull out since she was changed. The Azmodan's still coming out for them, though, and the immediate Chromie being picked up here, which is a very early Chromie, Pally.
It is a very early Chromie. I'm just...
What?
It must be both comfort picks, because Chromie was banned out in the first rotation, even though she's not as strong as she used to be. So it just might be they studied this team a lot. They pick a lot of Chromie, pick a lot of Zul. And they actually combo together pretty well with the root. Chromie will land her full combo. And Zul can... obviously, clearly, very well, and is probably the solo laner, which a lot of the solo laners can beat Zul, so I'm interested in seeing what happens here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know Balloon Grant's strength too personally. I don't know if they would want to do something crazy like a Zul main tank, as we've seen in the pro North American scene that we keep making lots of jokes about, actually. But I mean, if it works, it works. And it's now, we live in a universe where that now has to be a question, which I think is the more amazing fact.
Yeah, I mean, you could go into it here. I'm not sure you pick Chromie first if you were going to, but I can definitely, I mean, they could do it. I believe.
Anything is possible. As Mike Udall said, you can win with any set of heroes, so long as you know how to win with them. So we're gonna have to see what ends up being. We're not gonna have.
I wanted to see the Murden ban here because now you're forcing an ETC or an Arthas or something that's not necessarily the best tier or the tankiest.
Would we see a Stitches?
We could see a Stitches, definitely. I'm not sure during the shrines he is as effective because you do have to hook through the walls and avoid all those minions. Oh, the Alarak again. Oh my goodness.
The wave clear doesn't matter when you have Zul who can double soak and Nubarak coming in as well to follow that up. So we're seeing it again. This is a team of very interesting individuals. I'm wondering what support you pick when you have an Anubarak, an Alarak, a Zul, and a Chromie.
I personally would love to see the Rhaegar here, but I believe it's going to be the Alexstrasza. She's able to keep the Anubarak healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Anubarak is kind of squishy, and definitely if you're having burst damage, Raynor has a lot of damage that can take down the Anubarak very quickly. So that might be a web target. If Dahaka gets in there and tongues the Anubarak, he's gonna die. So I don't know. I don't think it combos as well with Diablo Alarak. There's the Rhaegar. So Rhaegar is going to be able to dive, cleanse. So if anyone vulnerable gets stunned by Dahaka or Johanna or rooted, we see a lot more CC on the side of Team Showboat this time. I think they learned their lesson.
Yeah,
And I do like the Dahaka. That's really good. Against the Zul, that's going to be pretty effective.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, they definitely learned their lesson in a very hard fashion in that last game. So making sure they have the tools to have some of that camera control on their side and not giving it entirely to their opponents. But after game one, like even though the draft is a little bit wacky from Blue Granda's strength, I can't help but believe, you know? I'm a believer.
Me too. I definitely am, but you can see that a Team Showboat has a very beefy team. So they're not going to be able to be bursted down as easily as they were last game.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the members of Balloon will still try. Game number 2, can they take this 2-0? Or will we see a 1-1 at the end of the night? In the blue, we have Team Showboat. We're going to have Kyrios back on that Asmodan, Dr. Holiday on Deckard Cain, Negan on Johanna, Yanners on the Raynor, and on Dahaka, we will have Axel Foley.
And on the red side, Balloon Granta's strength, we have Mr. Arigato on the Rhaegar, Enigma on the Chromie, Phenomenon again on the Alarak, Jix on the Zul, and Phantomus on the Anubarak. So let's see. We already have a very early Soul Lane happening. So it's going to be the Alarak and Soul Lane, who's much better than the Zul against the Dahaka.
Yeah, interesting adjustment coming out there from Team Showboat. Negan not afraid of going in. The Bone Prison is there, but the Iron Skin being able to get rid of that entirely is such a great tool to have against Azul.
Definitely is, but we are looking for that crazy Chromie combo after the lockdown, and we have the deep breathing quest. So the biggest change to Chromie in this patch was the increased damage and the cooldown reduction on the W. So deep breathing is more viable now than it ever was. So maybe that's why we see it here. A lot more wave clear, a lot more shrine control.
Yeah, up in the top lane, Phenomenon is doing a great job against this Dahaka. The silence coming in, Dahaka trying to use that W. The tongue misses. But this is a very full healthy Alarak, but that is not a very healthy Johanna. The tank goes down, and we talked about Johanna being one of the toughest to kill, so the coordination coming out from Balloon to make sure that is not the case and that they get that tank out of the way early leads to some very scary possibilities if you're Team Showboat.
It does, and I think what I hadn't thought about before, they can bait out the Unstoppable very easily by putting the root on her, but there's the 2 stuns by Anubarak. So there are many things to follow up with after she already pops Unstoppable. And there goes Raynor. There's a Chromie combo to destroy Raynor.
And oops, there goes Raynor. Is going to be, I think, possibly a trend. I don't know. Balloon just they love these combinations. And for me, especially watching a lot of NGS, some teams just don't have the fortitude to really land them consistently, if at all. And Balloon have just put any doubt of that to rest with how well they're able to coordinate a lot of these cooldowns and be able to focus on the right opponents at the right time with the right order of ability. So this is going to be a scary objective coming in for Team Showboat, having to fear about this for the entirety of this match, but especially around these objectives.
Definitely. They do have a lot of CC in the shrine, so as long as they don't stack it on top of each other, I think they can contest these pretty well, as long as Alarak doesn't just step in and destroy everyone right in the beginning.
Well, he's trying to right now. Onto that Asmodan. The follow-up from Fanto as well is going to take out this Asmodan, which is one of those tools for controlling this shrine that is now gone for another 10 seconds here. So the Skeletal Defender is going to start stacking up for Balloon Granta's strength. The members of Team Showboat just trying to catch up a little bit in experience as they have fallen behind because of these early kills.
Definitely, and we will see the Arcane Punisher. There's no way that Team Showboat goes in and tries to take this away, especially with 7 coming online soon. We do see Dahako did rotate down. That is very interesting. Maybe helping with the defense. Should be top, but he won't have dig down for this defense. Or dig up for this defense. So that's going to be tough. If they need a little bit of backup, Dahako's going to have to walk.
And we know he's not fast at that.
He is not. But I think also this is more of a late game comp again. We need to get Asmodan stacked. Once Raynor is 10, he's much more powerful. Decker, Johanna, everyone has some really good spikes at 10. So I think they're playing it a little bit more passively this time, which is good. They're not going to get picked off as much by this wombo combo again. They're able to get the wombo combo even with the warrior choke. So I don't know. These fights are going to be hard pre-10.
Yeah, and so especially with the level disparity as well, that patience I think is going to be extraordinarily key for Team Showboat, and I'm glad to see that coming out of them early here in the game rather than getting a little bit too ahead of themselves. But Axafali is going to have to watch out here. He sees the Zool, but the rest of the members, Balloon hanging out, not going to capitalize on that necessarily. But this push in the top lane, the focus on Alarak, not going to be able to get him down just yet, but here's the effort trying to make up some of that experience.
Yeah, they should have been a little bit more aggressive there. They knew Alarak was the only one up there. They engaged way too late, and he still had his little boop up, so he was able to push himself out of it. This camp is being taken very early, too.
Oh!
Rather than Stokes. Oh, man.
The body blocks from Anubarak on top of the sands blocking the escape of Dahaka there in the bot. This fort is now wide open for the pickings of Balloon Granta's strength. But the Alarak focus, Alarak caught out of position up here in top. Is he going to be able to get away is the question. He's a little bit simpler sometimes, but the damage is coming out, and I think it's just a matter of time before he finally goes down. A kill going over to Team Showboat.
He was able to stall very long, though. He was flanking so hard, just like dodging everything there. So it took them much longer to take him down, and they won't get this fort before a rotation. So that was a really good play by Alarak there. Able to just keep them there forever. And now they're going to have to back up before getting this fort.
Yeah, they're backing up now. The burrow coming out from Franimas, though. The cocoon going out onto Johanna, and the sands right under it as well. And that Johanna is not going to be looking too good. The Iron Skin proc, though. Bone Prison there. Lock her down. The Condemn for a little bit displacement, but the burrow for the stun. Finishing her off is that Rhaegar. And that is yet another pick for Balloon Granta's strength. They just need the one. Every time, they're okay with the one. They don't want to push too much after those initial picks because there's so much they can do even with 4 members of their opposing team being on the field.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Team Showboat stayed too long. They really wanted to secure this fort, but they knew that they spent way too much time trying to kill the Alarak. So that was unfortunate. They had to take the 9 to 10 fight because the Johanna was web wrapped. But they have their ults now. They can fight this shrine. Same talent here. We have Hyperion. No, is that Hyperion? No. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's interesting.
Alarak! Focus down again in that top lane. Alarak,
so
why?
This Punisher is gonna go to Team Showboat, and they can easily push down bot 4 with this, at least even up bot. I would like to see Dahaka just stay up top for a little bit, push down that fort, and dig down. They do have the advantage right now, so there's no harm in doing that.
Yeah, that camp is going to be pushing up there, so it looks like Dahaka will stay and try to clear that. It's a bit of clear not available for the point, but being able to burrow down whenever needed is such a big feature of that hero that needs to be utilized. The Condemned coming out, trying to group the members of Balloon. Alarak now back as well, so the burrow is here for Dahaka. The Cocoon, though, in response, Dr. Holiday ends up getting Bone Prison. The Hyperion, though, putting out a lot of damage in the stay a while and listen for a bit of disengagement. Axel Folly, though, gets the tongue onto Enigma. The Lifebinder, though, or the Ancestral, rather, is there to keep Chromie alive. And this is going to entirely reset.
Yeah, that was a very well-timed Ancestral there. Chromie should have gone down for that proc just before she died. There are just camps everywhere, though. Camps are pushing every single lane. Team Showboat needs to react to that. They should have had this Punisher, though. So that was just an unfortunate turnaround.
Unfortunate for the time being. More unfortunate, Axel Folly going down yet again here. The clear on the side, that Zool clear is just catching up so much in these defender counts, though. So given that the cooldowns on or rather the death timers still aren't super long, so Balloon being able to wait for Alarak to return and simply just threaten a little bit by being present around the shrine and not actively trying to get it was enough to deter Team Showboat.
Oh my goodness. Deep breathing has come online.
No one's safe now.
Nobody is safe, especially when it's comboed with Counter-Strike.
They're going to be hard. The silence is there on Johanna in the bottom, though.
Yeah, that should be the kill on Johanna. He does not have unstoppable. They do have enough CC to take her down. This is keep, at least one keep, possibly 2 keeps. They were able to bait the Punisher up to mid. I don't think they can really fight this right here. If they just keep getting picked, this is game.
Oh my goodness. Balloon having no fear whatsoever, picking off 2 more members of the opponent. The Poison Nova going out. The damage on the core, it is already down to 50%, and Balloon granted strength in 11 minutes on Infernal Shrines, making this a 2-0 for this series. Pally, I didn't think he was gonna go that fast.
No, that was a little insane. You can see why they picked this map. It was very convincing. They're not scared of being choked out of any role, it seems. As long as they have this Alarak, they can pair it with literally any stun in the game. The Chromie was surprising to me. Even after the changes. Being a huge fan of Chromie, I still don't think she's that powerful, but I think they're changing my mind here.
I mean, now
Deep breathing is on.
We're gonna start seeing Chromies and Alaraks all left and right, all over the place here in NGS after a set like that. I will move us up to a lobby. Let's see if we can get someone from Balloon to talk to us after that crazy game. Moving up here. Wait for that. Yeah, I mean, now we know why the Chromie and Zool were banned out against them.
Yeah, the Zool kept pressure in every single lane. So much pressure that Asmodean wasn't even able to clear it up. I don't even think we got full stacks from Asmodee in that game. It just went so quickly. And yeah, 2 kills to 11. That's insane.
So many kills that are not for Team Showboat there.
Yeah, they're not scared of taking down any target. They took down the Johanna 3 times. They're like, if we can get to Johanna, we're taking Johanna. It just did not matter.
Oh yeah, for sure. They nothing stands in their way, and like you talked about, being able to bait the Iron Stick skin with the Bone Prison from Zul was such a great use of that tool, and making sure they were able to counter that and get those kills onto what usually is a really hard hero to kill.
Yeah, and the staggering of the death. That's what hurt them, I think. Because Alarak was able to just take someone down, and then 10 seconds later, someone else went down. And there was no point towards the end of the game where all of Team Showboat was up. So they weren't really able to take even fights except for that one time on the shrine when they did not rotate fast enough and they did not leave Dahaka top to clear out that camp that actually took down the whole keep wall. So I think it's just they were a little scared after the first game.
Arigato, hello, congratulations on your 2-0 there. How are you and your team feeling especially after an 11-minute Infernal Shrines game?
Pretty good. I think that we just had them on the rotations. We had a serious lockdown, and there just wasn't too much they could do about it.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, and especially in that game, just how much pressure you had in every single lane and how quickly you were able to clear out any pressure that went against you. So there was a lot in that game for you to be proud of. But stepping back to game 1, walk us through some of that, because we the Diablo Tyrande combo on top of the Alarak was absolutely brutal. How are you feeling now that Tyrande's back? Yeah, I mean, Pally was like, this is like, old school Diablo Tyrande stuff. Like, how are you feeling with her now that she's been changed a bit?
I mean, it's nice. I used to play a lot of Tyrande when she was more relevant, and while she doesn't have the output of a lot of the more popular healers, that's just the lockdown opportunities you get when you pair it with like a Diablo or just any heavy CC. It's devastating. And then that against a Muradin with her trait, with the what's it called? Armor.
Yeah.
That on Muradin when he jumps in, or Leo when he's diving. It's really strong right now, and I don't know, it just works.
Yeah, and it absolutely worked for you. Were you expecting the Chromie Zul bands to come out in game 1 as well? Because you saw them snatched up immediately in game 2. And you had the opportunity, if you wanted, to pick up the Zul in game 1, but opted instead, for a couple other picks. Are those 2 heroes that you specifically like running together? Or have you run them, just the Chromie, just the Zul? Or is that kind of a match made in heaven for you?
I mean, ideally we get them both. It's just the lockdown combined with the Chromie, spells is really good. But we play a lot independently with either one. But if we can get them both, we try and take it, especially on lane clear maps like that where we can have them double soak and just kind of push, rotate on their side and go for those picks.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Pally, I will pass it over to you.
The Alarak. You picked it up both games. It was very impressive. Can you just make Alarak work with any other CC? Have you tried all of the tanks with Alarak? Because they're trying to choke you out of warriors. And you're just like, okay, can't have Muradin, can't have Johanna, okay, no Diablo, all right, Anubarak.
Yeah, I mean, we just try and call the abilities out so we don't overlap them, and knock it out of the suns and that sort of thing. So I mean, we have practiced a bunch with Alarak, and Phenom's really strong on him, so we try and take advantage of it.
Definitely is strong on Alarak. And is Chromie back now? Is deep breathing a thing?
So I mean, we were playing Chromie after the last change, like before the buff today. Like, I think as long as you have the CC to lock it down, it doesn't matter if they can see the W coming. If it still does a ton of damage.
That's true. True. I don't know. That was just really impressive. The CCs not being stacked. I think that's really what set you apart from Team Showboat in that, because nothing was used at the same time. Everyone was stunned or CC'd for 10 seconds. and you just did not care what target it was, going after the very high health tanks, literally anyone, because you knew that they would just be stunned until they died.
Yeah. I mean, we've been practicing. We got rolled a couple times against comps that were similar to that earlier in the tournament, so we've just been trying to practice that more because it's kind of broken right now, unless they have a cleanse, you know.
And it is kind of broken. You have made a believer out of me.
Yeah. Well, Arigato, thank you so much. Those games were a blast to cast, and congratulations to you and your team. And before we let you go, we will give the floor to you for any shout outs you have.
I don't really have any shout outs, just to the team. You know, we've been playing well this tournament and want to keep it up, and you know, that's about it.
Awesome. Well,
oh, and actually to you guys, thanks for casting. I appreciate it.
Oh, it was our pleasure. I would say we had a blast doing that. How about you, Pally?
We did. We were expecting some very meta picks, and you surprised us.
And it went an entirely
So
different direction.
Cool. Well, thanks again, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brings it to an end for us for this episode. I don't know why I said episode. For this evening of Nexus Gaming Series. But don't go away. We'll raid over some more games happening right now. But before that happens, Pally, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I had an absolute blast. And for the folks who are watching that, maybe you want to find out where you are and where they can see you do things, where can they find you?
Twitch.tv/mpalindrome. This thing under my face.
That name.
Yeah, I stream some very strange. You want to see some Bob Ross? Or some terrible potato hero? Come on over. But thank you for having me. It was a blast. You were lovely. And I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you coming in and making this far more entertaining, I think, than if it were just me talking into the ether. But yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out, and make sure to check out Pally on Twitch and support her. Make sure you go see her other games that she casts for NGS. And as always, I'm Cat Peach, and if you're here, you can find me here. And also, Odd Thought and Bahamut, thanks for the host and the raid, or actually both raids, during that last game. I appreciate both of you. So we're gonna host over Akuma, who is just about to get started with Blasting Burrows versus the Disco Tees. So that is starting right up, so definitely don't miss that. And until next time, thank you very much. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.